Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how I built the cart for my new TIG welder. Some of you guys have already seen it on Instagram and Facebook. And the TIG welder that I built the cart for is the TIG 200 from Lincoln Electric. It's an inverter based TIG welder. If you haven't seen the unboxing video of this TIG welder, the link is under the video so you can go watch it. For the platform here, I bought some diamond plate. I bought it from a guy who has a welding shop in town. He had a small piece left, so it was a lot cheaper than buying a 4x8 sheet. And by the way guys, the diamond plate is made of aluminum. And I riveted the diamond plate here with some rivets. If you do need to remove it later on, it is easy to just drill out the rivets. And for the main frame of the cart, I used 2x2 metal. Here it is. And this is the square tubing, I believe, with the 1/8 walls. The thickness of this square tubing is plenty to make a cart for this welder. Now over here I used 1-inch square tubing. I just welded it onto the end of the square tubing and so forth. I left a lot of space between the diamond plate and the handle because when you have your gloves on, they do take a lot of room. And I knew the wires would be coming over the handle. However, there is plenty of room here. Now underneath I welded some angle iron, 2 pieces to support the top here. And by the way, I did slightly remove the cover here and bolt the welder to the diamond plate. I just used 2 small 1/4-inch bolts. There's one at each end like this. And there's another piece of angle iron here to support the tank and one down here. And the 2x2 square tubing that goes from the top there to the bottom is approximately 30-inch. And the cart is approximately 45 inches high at the front. And it's about 16 inches wide at the front here. And the cart is approximately 27.5 inches long at the bottom. And the height at the back is approximately 39 to 40 inches if you count the small square tubing on top here. And the top portion that holds the welder on is the same width as the bottom as well. The whole frame again is made of 2x2 square tubing. I had some of this mesh left, so I cut it out and welded it to the square tubing. I put a lot of welding tacks to hold it. And under here I welded the casters to the frame. By the way, they are 4-inch casters with the brakes. It's really important to have the brake on your casters because then you can lock it in and you know it's not going to be moving on you. For the back wheels I used 10-inch solid rubber wheels. I did not want wheels with air in them because they always go flat. And what I did is I welded a 5/8 diameter bolt to a metal plate back here. And then I welded the plate to the frame. And then what I did is I cut off the bolt, I grinded it flat on top, drilled a hole, put a cotter pin and a washer. This way here, the end of the bolt and a cotter pin are pretty well inside the wheel so it will not stick out. Now even though the welder is bolted to the diamond plate, I put a small 1-inch square tubing here that is bolted to the body, just in case the bolts let go and the welder went to fall down. And I have the cylinder at the back here securely strapped to the cart. And what I did here is I welded a 5/16 bolt to the frame and then just put a nut to hold the strap. And I did the same thing on this side, except on this side I used a lock nut because this is the side that I remove to replace the cylinder. And I left enough space between the top here and the cylinder to access the valve. You want to make sure you have a lot of room here to put your hand in. Now I did buy this argon cylinder from Lindy and I did pay around $240 plus tax, full of argon. So when it's empty, all I have to do is go and swap this cylinder for one that is full. And what I did here is welded some L brackets and welded them to the cart. And I put one at the bottom and one at the top, and it works really well for all the cables. I did the same thing on this side. If you do get a TIG welder, you're going to have a lot of cables. I welded a few pipes here just to put in the TIG torch in. You can put it in there when you park the cart or when you're actually using the welder. And here I made a bracket for the pedal. It works really good. It just helps to keep everything tidy. It's good to keep all the cables and wires tidy like that because you don't want them getting caught in anything. And you can see that this height and angle are perfect for me for setting it. I don't need to reach down to set the welder, which can be inconvenient. And this is the cart that I built for my MIG welder before. I do have a video series on this cart, and I regretted when I made this cart that I did not build the platform here on a slide angle. Now it's not a big deal that it's not on an angle, but it is nice to have the angle like I did on the TIG welding cart. And the wheels that you see on my MIG cart here are the exact same ones that I used on the TIG cart. They work so well that I just decided to use the same ones again. When I had made the video series on this cart, I had used smaller wheels, but I did upgrade them since. And the reason you see a big space here is because I want to put a small toolbox or cabinet down here. Something like this small tool cabinet over here. If you do know where I can get one in Canada, please let me know. And by having that there, it's going to add a lot of weight at the front of the cart. And the reason I want to put the tool cabinet there is to keep all my TIG welding equipment in the cabinet. Like that, it stays nice and clean for when you want to use them. I'm really happy with the way the cart turned out, and it's very easy to move around. If you do build your own cart, make sure you use wheels that are big enough. I would not go smaller than these, because if you do, it is much harder to move it. Again, the front casters are 4-inch and the back wheels are 10-inch, and they are solid rubber. And the Lincoln Electric stickers that you see on the cart, I had bought those on eBay. I had some left from when I made the MIG cart, so I just thought I'd stick them on. And this here is the only paint that I used on this cart. They're both made by Tremclad. And I think in the US the company is called Rust-Oleum. Here in Canada it's called Tremclad. So to start with, I primed all the metal. And then I used this Tremclad Professional Gloss Black paint. And I ended up spraying 3 coats of paint on it. Now the reason I built my own cart is because I tried shopping around online to buy a cart for it. And I just found that they were expensive and they weren't as strong as what I would like them to be. It's really hard, guys, to go buy a welding cart that's going to be customized or be exactly the way you want it. And another good thing about building your own cart like this is it will last you a lifetime. It's going to be the first and the last welding cart that you need to build for your welder. And this cart here only cost me $200 from start to finish, and that includes the paint, the wheels, the metal, even the electricity to build this cart. And from the carts I looked online to buy that were comparable, it's a huge savings for me. And this Power MIG 180C is the welder that I used to build the cart. The MIG welder works really good to weld this kind of metal together. During the editing process of this video, I decided to come back out and put my wheels a few inches further back. Now, even though the cart was not in any danger of tipping over, I just wanted to make sure that I had a way better balance on this cart. So what I had to do is grind the plate off that holds the wheel and the shaft and move it back a few inches. I realized this after I got comments from my Instagram and Facebook pics of the cart while I was building it, and the guys were right. And now it's much more stable, especially with the argon tank at the back. And another thing I added during the editing process is another piece of pipe here to put the TIG torch in. And I welded it on the opposite side. I have 2 on the other side. It's just handy sometimes when you're working on things. I found that it comes in handy sometimes to have a piece of pipe on each side of the cart to put the TIG torch in. And one last tip before I end off the video is I do recommend you get a cover for your welder, especially if you have an inverter-based welder like this with a lot of circuit boards inside. This cover here is water repellent, and it's going to keep all the dust from getting into your welder as well. I'm not a welder by trade, so I don't use my welder every day. However, I don't want dust from the shop getting into it. So it's well worth to invest in a good cover for your welder, guys. If you haven't seen the video series of when I built my MIG welding cart, please go watch them. The links are all under the video today as well. That video series will give you a good idea as to how I built this cart as well. So thanks again for watching, guys. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Have a great day.